I really do actually have a lot of suggestions for you, and I'll tell you exactly why. I live in a very stressful world, and I'm very sane. So I'm actually a good person to speak on this subject, because I try to live, and I have personal witnesses, people who work with me every day, and my wife is here who lives with me every day. Now, let's take a vote. Would you say that I'm sane? Is that fair, gentlemen? Would you say that we, more or less, from one? No. There were 3.5 votes for me. I have a very stressful life. It is not easy to do a talk show, especially when people call up and they want to rip you apart. It is a great source of joy to some of them. I have a lot of work, have a family. We all have incomes. I mean, I have what you have. You may have more, you may have less. But what I have found is that stress should not be a factor in your sanity. And I'm going to tell you why I think so, how I've worked it out, and my advice to you. Because I really do have advice. I think that if any of these things are taken to heart by you, it'll help. Very basic reason for my giving a talk like this is the hope that it does help you. Let me first begin by telling you something. Stress is not bad. I think that a lot of people think that tension/stress in their lives is inherently a bad thing. That's not true at all. You know who don't have stress? Cows. No, it's a very important thing to remember. I think that a lot of people in our modern society want to emulate a cow's life. And that is part of the reason, I am convinced, if not the major reason, for the ubiquitous viewing of television in American society. Why is a television on in the average American home for 6 hours a day? It is so that you don't have to confront your stress. You walk in, you turn on the TV, you leave your life, you enter others' lives, even to the point, I always find this remarkable, not bad, and I mean, I don't go for it, but I'm not making a moral judgment on it. I'm just observing that there are now timers on many televisions, not only that can wake you up, but that you can fall asleep while it's on, and then it will shut itself off, gradually dimming the volume, so that you can fall asleep to television and you can wake up to television. And most Americans, that's a staggering statistic, most Americans do that. As soon as coming into a home, that's not just for singles. For singles, though I think it's sad, at least I understand it. You want a sense of human companionship in the home. You want a voice on. You want a person to see. You go into your house where you live alone, you turn on the TV. But this is as true for married people with children, turning on televisions as soon as they get home. That's remarkable. And it has to be related to this issue of I want to tune out. Because if I tune in, it's too stressful. My argument, my number one argument, and I give every speech on any subject, number one, number two, number three. My number one argument to you is, it is not terrible to have stress. It is not terrible to have tension. What is terrible is to have gratuitous stress or gratuitous tension, which I would call aggravation. Okay? Stress is okay, and so is tension. Listen. How do I know this? Very simple answer to that. There are people who have terrible stress. The Olympics are just ending, right? Do the athletes not have incredible stress? Would you say that they are insane? Some might be, but not because of this. Why do they willingly undergo all the stress that they undergo, the physical, emotional tension and stress, and this is to the point of what I'm speaking of gratuitous. The answer? Because they think it's worth it. It is pain for an end for which the pain is worth it. Why would a woman undergoing the extraordinary pain of childbirth a day later say, you know, I'd like another one? That pain, think about it. The pain that the average woman undergoes in childbirth is equivalent to torture. Okay? Would any of you say, gee, I'll undergo torture again? Of course not. Obviously then, the relationship between pain and is it worth it makes pain very different under very different circumstances. Why are you doing it? If you're running away from a rapist or a mugger, it's very painful to run. But if you're running to just jog and you want to get a jogger's high, that's the same exact physical pain, but there's no comparison in the aggravation or a gratuitous stress. That's the question in life then. How much of your tension and stress is unnecessary and to no good end? But to live is to have tension. To live like a cow is to have no tension. That's my primary argument to you. Figure it out in your life. You must analyze how much of your tension and stress is gratuitous and how much is towards a greater end. I live under a quarterly tension. It's called ultimate issues. It is, and only those who know me well know what pressure this is. Do you know what it is like to meet a deadline every single quarter to publish your own journal of all your own writing? It's tough. I mean, a lot of us don't like to have to write a letter to anybody. Can you imagine writing a journal to which, 9,000 people subscribe, and if you don't meet it, the post office takes your second-class mailing rights away? I mean, I even have tension from the post office, let alone from the subscribers. Where's my issue? But it is tension that I live with that doesn't kill me. It's painful. I'm not thrilled with it. Believe me, I wish I didn't have it, but I willingly have it for a higher aim, namely to publish my own journal. And when it comes out, it's worth it. It is my way of giving birth every quarter. I can't do what a woman does. That's, by the way, just parenthetically, and this is hardly original to me, partially why men are so outward-oriented in their creativity. We don't have that inward creativity that a woman simply, most of the time, will have, or at least that potential. We don't produce anything inwardly. We have to produce outwardly. So my birth pains that a woman experiences in that stress, I get quarterly. Other men have it daily, at work with their boss. Other men have it in other ways, quarterly or annually to paying the taxes, meeting the bills, feeding the kids, sending them to school. It is part of life to have this. The question is, do you let it overwhelm you? Is it overwhelming? And is there something to be done about it? And the first question was, is it pointless and therefore gratuitous pain, or is it pain for a point? There is pain in raising children. Forget having them. It's harder to raise them than to have them, most mothers, I think, would acknowledge, because it's an ongoing pain. And by the way, it never ends. If you don't believe me, ask your parents. Right? Does it ever end? Never ends. It's one of the things that when you're a kid you don't realize is that you remain a kid in your parents' eyes forever. My mother still, thank God I'm doing well, I have a pretty successful life, things are fine, and every phone call my mother still asks, do you need anything? What am I going to answer? Yeah, jam. We ran out of jam, would you just send over as much as you can from Brooklyn? And it is the same question she asked me when we would talk when I was away at college. Do you need anything? My laundry done. What am I going to answer? I'm 44, I have my own family, and it's totally understandable. There's never a time that ends, and your parents continue to have tension. We parents continue to have tension forever. But is it not a tension I willingly have? I want kids. Here you say, I want tension. I know I will increase tension in my life. I am making an argument to you that stress and tension are good. If people will tell you in any of these self-help talks, you have to reduce your stress and tension, it's like cholesterol. Tension is just like cholesterol. If you've had your cholesterol checked, you know what I mean. There's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. There is good tension and there is bad tension. I want you to reduce your bad, unnecessary tension, but not your good tension. Oh, I know how to reduce your good tension. Stop living. Stay at home, watch TV, you will reduce your tension. Enter a coma, and you're guaranteed. The comatose have very, very little tension. There are very simple answers to that. Stop feeling, stop loving, stop caring. It's easy to end tension. Have no expectations in life. Have no demands from life. have no wants, then you'll end up with no tension.
It is with great pleasure that I present to you Dennis Prager.
I promise you, this alone will make you a happier human being. Are you kidding? The combination is terrific. I have been granted the greatest possibility in the world. To touch a life is the greatest joy a human being could have. Given that it is a bit warm, I'm going to take my coat off. Is that all right? Thank you, thank you. Why exactly did you applaud? That is, never quite follow that.